Ebere, stop! The baby!
The house Uchechi built in the city was the kind of house that made you stop walking when you saw it. Big, clean, glass and light everywhere. He had become a successful engineer, and beside him was his wife, Nneka. Beautiful, soft-spoken, warm. She loved Uchechi quietly and completely. But there was one thing Nneka did not fully know. She knew Uchechi had a sister in the village. She knew he sent money home every month. But the full story, the real story, nobody had sat her down and told her all of it. Not yet. One evening, Uchechi sat across from her. "My sister is coming," he said, "to live with us permanently."
Of course,
Nneka
Uchechi.
smiled. Of course, she's your family. She's welcome. You don't understand, Uchechi said, his voice dropping. "Everything I have, this house, my degree, even the shoes on my feet, I have all of it because she suffered. We have to treat her like a queen." "I will," Nneka said, "I promise." She meant it. She just didn't know what was coming. 2 days later, the front door opened and Ebere walked in. The air in the house changed, like something invisible shifted the moment she stepped through that door. Ebere was not the young girl from Umoka anymore. Her eyes were sharp, the kind of sharp that comes from years of watching life treat you unfairly while you smiled and said nothing. That bitterness had been sitting inside her for a long time, quiet and growing. She looked around the house slowly, the curtains, the soft rugs, then her eyes landed on Nneka, her smooth skin, her polished nails, her easy smile. Ebere did not smile back. She did not hug her. She looked at the suitcase on the floor, then looked directly at Nneka. "You, flat and sharp, like a whip that doesn't shout but still cuts. Take my bag to the master bedroom. I am tired." Nneka blinked.
"But that is our room."
"But that is our room. Your room is the guest suite downstairs. It's very beautiful." Ebere turned to Uchechi and her eyes filled with tears, fast, practiced. "Uchechi, is this the woman? I slept on a mat for 20 years so that you could sleep on a mattress. I starved so you could eat. I bled so you could shine. And now I come to your house and I am a guest?" Uchechi's face
Nneka,
went
just give
pale.
her the room
"Nneka,
for tonight, please."
just give her the room for tonight, please." Nneka turned and walked toward the stairs, and as her footsteps faded, Ebere set down her bag slowly and looked around the house one more time, like she was already deciding something. Nneka lay in the guest room that night, staring at the ceiling. Her own house, and yet here she was, like a visitor who showed up without being invited. When Uchechi came in, he sat on the edge of the bed and looked at the floor. "Nneka, I am so sorry. You didn't see what she went through. The hunger, the suffering. She practically raised me. I know what she did, Uchechi, but she walked in and took our room on her first day. That is not a visit. That is something else." Please, his eyes met hers, and what she saw was not strength. It was fear, old, deep fear.
I
will try, she said, but the words felt hollow. The next morning, Ebere walked out of the master bedroom looking rested and unbothered. Nneka was in the kitchen. Ebere picked up a slice of toast, looked at it, and looked at Nneka. "What is this? Too white, too soft. Do you want to kill my brother with city food? In the village, I would wake up before the sun and pound yam with my bare hands after hours on the farm, just so Uchechi could eat well. Did you ever do anything like that for him, even once?" Nneka turned to Uchechi, who had just walked in. He picked up a glass of water and looked away. "Ebere, please," he said, quietly, weakly. "Please, you are defending her after I starved so you could eat?" "No, sister, of course not." And just like that, he disappeared behind his silence again. Nneka stood in her own kitchen alone. It did not slow down. It got faster, harder. "New clothes, Ebere would care. Wasting my brother's money. Before you came, he was saving. Resting, Ebere would push the door open. Sleeping, get up, clean Uchechi's shoes, be useful." And every time Uchechi was somewhere nearby watching, saying nothing, then walking away. Nneka would follow him every time. "Uchechi, you have to stop this." He would hold his head in his hands. "What do I say, Nneka? She gave up everything for me. How do I tell her to stop? What about my sacrifice? What about this marriage? What about me?" He would look up, pain all over his face. Real pain, but the kind that just sits there and does nothing. Just a little longer. I will talk to her, I promise. He never did. Something in Nneka kept getting smaller every day. Her laugh disappeared. Her appetite disappeared. She started moving through her own home like a stranger. Then one afternoon, Ebere snatched the garden hose out of her hand. "Go and cook. Something real, not your city nonsense." Nneka's knees hit the ground. And that was when her phone rang. "Mama Ada." "Mama, my daughter, how are you?" "Mama," she whispered, "I can't take it anymore." One moment of silence, then I am coming.
She did not knock. Mama Ada walked through that front door the next day like someone who had every right to be there, because she did. She stepped into the living room and her eyes moved slowly across everything, reading it all. Ebere was dusting a gold picture frame on the wall. She did not turn around right away, but her shoulders went stiff, like her body knew before her eyes did that something had changed in the room. She turned. And who is this? Mama Ada let her traveling bag drop. It hit the marble floor with a heavy sound that moved through the whole house. I am Neka's mother, she said. Low voice, steady eyes. And who are you? The one turning my daughter into a servant in her own home. Ebere's face moved fast. Shock first, then pride. She pulled herself up straight. I am Uchi's sister. I am the one who suffered while he studied. I raised him. This is my brother's house, and I am the queen here. This is my daughter's house too. Mama Ada walked closer, slow, calm, until she was standing right in front of Ebere. A man leaves his family to build with his wife. He does not bring someone from the village to sit on his wife's neck. The air between them was sharp enough to cut. Then Neka came rushing down the stairs, face pale, eyes red and swollen. Mama! She fell into her mother's arms like a child who had been holding herself together for too long and had finally been given permission to let go. Mama Ada held her and felt it immediately, how thin she had become, how much lighter she was than the last time she had held her. Welcome me, my daughter, she whispered, pulling her close. I have come to see things for myself. Welcome, Mama. Neka was already pulling her toward the guest room. Please, let's go inside. I don't want trouble. Ebere laughed, short, dry, and cold. Yes, take her away. Go and fill her ears with your lies. But remember, old woman, in this house, I am the blood. You are just a visitor. That night, the house was like a pot with the lid held down, pressure building with nowhere to go. Mama Ada did not sleep. She sat in the dark of the guest room and listened. She heard Ebere shout for water in the middle of the night. She heard Neka's tired footsteps on the stairs going up, then coming back down. By the time the sun came up, Mama Ada had seen enough. Her face was still. Her eyes were calm, but something had been decided. The silence in the room did not last. Ebere's laughter broke it, dry, sharp, mocking. She crossed the room and grabbed Uchi's arm the moment he walked through the door. Her grip was tight. Her knuckles went white. Uchi, look at them. Her finger pointed at Mama Ada, trembling. They have come to take over. They want to push your own blood out of the house you built with your sweat. Are you going to stand there and let this woman call your sister a parasite? I did not call her that because she's your sister. I called her that because she's eating the joy out of this marriage. Uchi, look at your wife. Really look at her. She is disappearing. Uchi turned to Neka. And for one moment, just one, something cracked open in his chest. She was thinner. Her eyes were tired in a way that sleep could not fix. She looked like a woman who had been carrying something too heavy for too long. But Ebere saw that moment. She saw his eyes soften and she moved fast. She let out a sharp cry and fell onto the sofa, both hands clutching her chest. My heart, Uchi, my heart. Her voice shook. They want to finish me so they can spend your money in peace. After everything I gave up, after all the hunger I swallowed for you. Uchi forgot everything. He rushed to her side. Sister, calm down. Breathe. He looked up at Mama Ada, his voice rising. Mama Ada, please, you're attacking her too much. Neka stood where she was. Nobody rushed to her side. Mama Ada watched it happen and felt something cold move through her. This was not just a difficult woman. This was something else. Uchi was not choosing his sister because he was cruel. He was choosing her because he could not see clearly anymore. Gold had covered his eyes like a blindfold, and Ebere knew exactly how to pull it tighter. Mama Ada turned toward the kitchen to get water for Neka. Ebere recovered immediately. She sprang up from the sofa and stepped directly into Mama Ada's path.
Where do you think you're going?
You do not walk around this house like you own it. She turned her head. Neka, go and get water for your mother. Use the plastic cup from the backyard. The glass ones are for the people who belong here. Neka moved, like a woman who had forgotten she had a choice. She walked toward the kitchen, her head down. As she passed, Ebere's foot shot out. Neka went down hard. The marble floor came up fast. The sound was sickening, a heavy, awful thud that seemed to bounce off every wall in the house. Neka! Mama Ada scream tore through the house as she dropped to her daughter's side. The next morning, the air in the kitchen was thick and heavy, like the sky before a storm breaks. Mama Ada stood by the sink, watching Neka quietly stir a pot of porridge. Nobody was speaking. The only sound was the soft scrape of the spoon against the pot.
Then the kitchen door swung open. Ebere walked in. She did not look at the food. She looked at Neka, the way you look at something dirty on the floor.
Is this what you are
serving my brother?
This city rubbish again?
This city rubbish again? Neka opened her mouth. She never got the chance to speak. Ebere grabbed the large jug of ice-cold water from the counter and she did not pour it. She threw it straight into Neka's face. The force of it knocked Neka back into the cabinet. She gasped, the cold hitting her like a wall, her clothes soaked and clinging, her whole body shaking. She grabbed the counter just to stay standing. Clean yourself up, she spat. You look like a wet dog. This kitchen is for people who know how to serve, not for useless city girls. She put her hands on her hips and waited. She was waiting for Neka to cry. But Ebere had forgotten one thing. Mama Ada was standing right there. Mama Ada did not shout. She did not say a single word. She took 2 long steps across that kitchen floor, and before Ebere could turn her head, whack! The slap landed like a thunderclap, heavy, hard, final. Ebere flew back against the dining table, her hand shooting up to her face, her eyes wide with something she had never felt in this house before. Shock. You have the nerve? Mama Ada's voice was low, shaking, not with weakness, but with something far more dangerous than anger. You see me standing here with my daughter, and you walk in and throw water on her like she's an animal? You think because Uchi is too afraid to speak that every person in this house is afraid? He turned to Uchi. Uchi. Just his name, but the way she said it made the whole room go still. A man who watches his wife be treated like dirt in her own home is not a man. You are a small boy in a big suit. You built this house, but you never left the village. You are still there. She turned to Neka, took her hand, held it firmly. Go and pack. Take only what you came with. Leave the silk, leave the gold, leave everything he bought. We are going somewhere your soul can breathe. Neka, if you leave now, don't come back. Uchechi's voice cracked, high and desperate, like a man watching a dog close and only just realizing he had the key the whole time. Behind him, Ebere pressed close to his ear. Let her go, she whispered. Let her go. We don't need her. Neka stopped at the door. She turned. She looked at the man she had loved, really looked at him one last time.
I am not
leaving because I stopped loving you, Uchi. Her voice trembled, but her words were solid. I am leaving because I love my life more than you love your guilt. She walked out. Ebere followed them all the way to the gate, clapping, singing an old village victory song, loud enough for every neighbor on the street to hear.
Yes,
go. Take the vulture away. My brother is free now. Blood is always thicker than a cheap marriage. The car moved. The gate closed. Silence. Uchechi stood alone in his big empty living room, the high ceilings, the glass table, the gold frames on the wall, everything exactly where it should be. Behind him, Ebere was already humming softly, straightening one of the picture frames with slow, careful hands, like nothing had happened, like she had simply tidied the house. Uchechi looked around the room. He had his house, he had his sister, but standing there in that big empty silence, something settled on him that he was not prepared for, a feeling he had no name for. The house had everything in it and felt like nothing. Ebere moved through it like she had won a war. She sat in the master bedroom wearing Neka's jewelry, rings on her fingers, chain around her neck, and called out to Uchechi to bring her tea like it was the most normal thing in the world. But Uchechi could not rest. He would sit in a chair and stare at a wall. He would walk into the kitchen and remember something, a sound, a smell, and have to walk back out. Neka's laugh used to live in this house. Now the house was just walls and expensive furniture and silence that pressed against him from every direction. Obi stopped coming. He called once, just once, until that woman leaves your house, Uchechi, I have no friend there. Then the line went dead. Uchechi sat with that for days. Then one morning he got up, picked up his keys and drove. He drove to Mama Ada's house. He got out of the car and he knelt down in the dirt outside their gate. He stayed there for 3 hours. When Mama Ada finally came out and saw him, a grown man, an engineer, kneeling in the dirt, she did not rush to him. She stood and looked at him the way a woman looks at someone who has a lot to answer for. Mama, please. His voice was broken. Tears ran freely down his face, and he did not wipe them. I was blind. What my sister suffered does not give her the right to destroy what I am building now. I want my wife back. Mama Ada looked at him with eyes that had seen everything. My daughter is not a football, she said. You do not kick her away and then whistle for her to come running back. Then the door behind Mama Ada opened. Neka stood there. She was thinner, but her eyes were clear and steady and firm.
What are you doing here, Uchechi? He opened his mouth. You chose your sister over me, she said. Her voice was flat and steady.
Every time I cried, you walked away. Every time she humiliated me, you said sorry to her, not to me. You chose her. Over and over again, you chose her. I came because there is something you need to know. Uchechi, she said quietly, I am pregnant. The word hit him like something physical. He stared at her. A child. There was a child coming. If I come back, Neka said, and her voice did not shake, it is for this baby, not for the house, not for anything else. But I will not live under the same roof as Ebere. You have to choose. Either she goes or I stay here forever. Uchechi did not hesitate this time. I will handle it, he said. I will get her an apartment. I will send her back to the village if I have to. Just come home while I make the arrangements, please. Neka looked at him for a long moment. She did not say anything, but she did not close the door. Neka came back, but the house was not peaceful. It was a pot sitting on high heat, and everyone in it knew it was only a matter of time. Uchechi tried. For the first time, he really tried. When Ebere raised her voice, he raised his back. Sister, enough. This is my wife. She's carrying my child. You will respect her in this house. Ebere's face changed in a way that was frightening. The color drained and then rushed back darker than before. A child? Her voice dropped low and dangerous. You think a belly full of child is more important than the sister who raised you from nothing? I see it now. This girl has used that pregnancy to push me out. Uchechi said nothing more that day, but he went to work quietly. When he left, Nneka was in the kitchen. Ebere waited until she had his car leave the compound. Then she walked into the kitchen. You think you have won. It was not a question. Her voice was flat and cold and certain. Her hand shot out and grabbed Nneka's arm tight. I am not leaving this house. You are the one who will go. Ebere! Nneka tried to pull back. Let go of me. Ebere began dragging her toward the door. Her strength was not normal strength. It was the kind that comes from a place beyond reason. Get out, Ebere hissed. Get out. Ebere, stop! Nneka screamed. The baby! Ebere shoved her hard. Nneka's feet lost the ground. She fell, and the edge of the marble table caught her stomach as she went down. The sound she made was not a scream. It was worse than a scream. Then she went completely still. Uchechi walked through the front door 10 minutes later. He saw Nneka on the floor first. Then he saw Ebere standing over her, chest heaving, eyes wild. What happened? His voice tore through the house. She just fell. Ebere's voice was high and shaking. She came at me and lost her balance. I didn't touch her. Do not touch her.
Don't touch her!
He crossed the room, bent down and lifted Nneka into his arms. She was limp and pale and small, and he held her like something precious that had been broken by careless hand. He ran to the car. He drove like a man running from death itself. At the hospital, they took Nneka from him at the doors and rushed her in, and he stood in that corridor alone, still in his office clothes, hands shaking, unable to sit, unable to stand properly. When Nneka finally opened her eyes, weak, pale, her voice barely there, by some miracle, the baby was safe. Uchechi sat beside her bed and held her hand and could not speak for a long time. When Nneka finally looked at him, her eyes were tired but clear. I am never going back to that house.
I am never
she
going
said.
back to that house.
If you go back there,
If you go back there,
alone.
you go alone.
The room went quiet. And Uchechi sat there holding her hand, knowing that somewhere across the city, his sister was in that big house waiting for him to come home, and knowing for the first time that he did not want to. Uchechi did not go back. He sent Obi. He left instructions, clear, final, no room for argument. The house was being sold. Inside a small black briefcase was money, enough to start over, and a single set of keys, the keys to a small house he had quietly built for Ebere in the village. He would send her money every month. He would never forget what she did for him as a child, but she would never know where he lived again. She had her chance to be a sister, Uchechi told Obi. She chose to be a master. I owe him for my past. I owe her nothing more. When Obi arrived, he found Ebere pacing the living room floor. She looked different. The sharpness from her face gone. The confidence that filled every room she walked into gone. What was left was a woman clutching her phone with both hands, her eyes jumping to the door every few seconds. When she saw Obi, she moved fast. "Obi, where's my brother?" Her voice was high and thin, nothing like the voice that commanded this house months. "Is he in the car? Let me go and talk to him." "Uchechi is not coming back, Ebere," Obi said. His voice was flat, quiet, fine. "He is done."
Ebere's phone slipped from her hand and hit the rug. "What do you mean not coming back?" Her voice cracked. "This is his house. I am his sister. His blood. Is he in the car? Let me go and talk to him."
car?
The
Let me
house
go and
is
talk to
being
him.
sold. Obi opened the briefcase slowly. Stacks of money. One set of keys. The locks will be changed by morning. The money is enough to start a life. The keys are for the house he built you in the village. He will send you something every month. Obi paused. "But you are never to look for him. His number is changed. His address, you will never have it." The sound that came out of Ebere was not a scream and not a cry. It was both at once. She dropped to her knees right there on the marble floor. The floor she used to walk on like a queen, and grabbed the edges of the briefcase with shaking hands. "He cannot do this. I picked snails in the dirt for him. I starved for him. I gave him everything. Uchi!" She turned her face to the ceiling and called his name like he might hear her. But the house just sat there, silent, still. And that silence was his answer. It landed on her slowly, the full weight of it. She had pushed and pushed and pushed. She had pushed out Neka. She had pushed out Obi. She had pushed and pushed until she had pushed herself right out of her brother's life. She was not the master of this house. She was just a woman, alone, in a house that no longer had her name on anything. The knock came the next morning. Sharp, early, final. Ebere opened the mahogany door and found a woman holding a set of keys and a group of movers standing behind her like a wall. "Madam," the woman's voice had no feeling in it, "we are here for the house. You need to leave now." Ebere looked at the movers, at the new locks in their hands, at the truck parked outside the gate. The last of the fight went out of her eyes. She turned and walked to the bedroom, the master bedroom she had claimed on her very first night, and she packed, fast, shaking, sweating, throwing expensive clothes and shoes into big suitcases with hands that could not stay steady. Nobody came to help her. Nobody came to say goodbye. She dragged her heavy bags across the marble floors, the same floors she used to brag about, and pulled them through the front door and out through the gate. She tried Uchechi's number one last time. Dead. She stood outside on the street with everything she owned piled around her feet and the city moving past her like she was not even there. There was nowhere to go. She picked up her bags and she walked. No song this time. No clapping, no crowd, no victory. Just a woman alone, carrying everything she had grabbed for and none of what truly mattered. That same evening, in a quiet house in a different part of the city, Uchechi sat beside Neka. His hand rested gently on her belly, warm, round, full of the future. The room was soft and still. No shouting, no tension, no walking on eggshells. Just the two of them and the life growing between them. I'm sorry. Uchichi whispered. I'm sorry it took me so long to see. Neka looked at him. Her eyes were tired but warm, the way eyes look when the storm has finally passed and the air is clean again.
The debt is paid,
Uchichi,
You don't
she
owe
said
her your
softly.
life anymore.
You don't owe him your life anymore. She took his hand
You only
and
owe
held
your
it
life
against
to
her.
us.
You only owe your life to us. The room was quiet, and this time, the quiet felt like peace.
Ebere gave everything to lift her brother up. That was love. But when she used that sacrifice as a weapon, love became poison. No matter how much you have suffered for someone, it does not give you the right to destroy what they are building. Help people because you love them, not because you want to own them.